Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and I'd like to share with you my TBR for March Mystery Madness. If you haven't heard about March Mystery Madness, it is a month-long reading challenge to read more mysteries, and it's hosted by myself and Troi Towel and Di from Disis19 Hearts. And I also want to thank Laura from Mom Triplets 04 because she was the first one to get her March Mystery Madness TBR video up and on BookTube even before any of us hosts got our TBR done. She had hers done. So if you want to check out what she has picked out for March Mystery Madness, then I will link her video down below. Meanwhile, I've been kind of thinking about what my own TBR is going to be. I've been saving a lot of books for this month, and I need to do a lot of catching up from the Book One Cozies Club, and I even have some books for review that have been sent to me by the author that are mysteries. And so I've got a lot to read this month, and I'm excited to tell you about it. The first challenge is to read a classic mystery. Well, I'm really disappointed that the Tony Hillerman book that I need to read is from 1973 and not 1967, because it won't quite make it for this challenge. Although in my head, I'm kind of considering this still my classic for this month. This is not much to look at. This is an old audiobook I just recently picked up at a book sale. I got it free, and I read the first in the Elite Pornacci mystery series from Tony Hillerman called The Blessing Way a year or two ago. I can't remember how long ago. And I enjoyed it. And I didn't really know if I was going to continue the series or not, but this year, I think in July, our book club pick is Skinwalkers by Tony Hillerman. It's book 7 in that series. And since I don't like to read things out of order, I decided I better get on the ball with that series. So the next one is The Dance Hall of the Dead. And then I'm going to have to read the next 3 in print. And I don't know how many I'll get done in March. But at some point between now and July, I need to read all the way up through book 7. Book 3 is Listening Woman. Book 4 is People of Darkness. Book 5 is The Dark Wind. And then I do have the audiobook of The Ghost Way. And then after that comes Skinwalkers. So during the month of March, I want to read at least a couple of books from this series. However, the first challenge is to read a book that's 50 years old or older. So I'm going to have to go back at least 5 years earlier than 1973 to 1967. I don't really have anything on my TBR that's that old that I'm really anxious to read. So I think I'm going to kind of do a cop-out here and go for an Encyclopedia Brown, which will also count for challenge number 5. But I read an Encyclopedia Brown book last year for March Mystery Madness, so I think I'll pick up the second one of those, which I think has something to do with baseball. I don't know. I'll put it up here for you to see. And that will be, just a quick and easy little read. And then I'll get back to the stuff that I really do need to read this month. So between those two, that'll cover my classic challenge. Challenge number 2 is to read a series book, either the first in a series or a sequel. And I am going to read Death by Darjeeling, which is the first in the Tea Shop Mystery Series by Laura Childs. This was one of our Book One Cozies Club picks for, I think, February. And I'm not reading it in February because I'm reading fantasy and romance. So I decided to bump this to March, and I'm excited to read it. I'll also have another book that would also fit that challenge that I'm planning to read. This is Pretty Poison, a garden mystery by Joyce and Jim Levine. This is also one of our previous Book One Cozies Club picks that I didn't get read, so I'm going to read this as well. Challenge number 3 is to read an author that's new to you. Well, I had an author that approached me not too long ago through my email, I guess, or commented to a video and asked if I would like to read some of the books in her mystery series. Her name is Barbara Van Ketterman, and she has the Jamie Quinn mystery series. She recently released a box set collection of the first 3 of that series and was interested in having me review them. So she has already sent me the codes on Audible, and I have been saving them for March Mystery Madness. The first one is called Death by Didgeridoo, and the second one is The Case of the Killer Divorce, and the third one is Peril in the Park. So I plan to read all 3 of those this month because it is a whole collection, and I'll let you know what I thought about it. Number 4 is to read a paranormal or futuristic mystery, and so I picked paranormal, even though paranormal is not really my thing. I have read several in the Aunt Dimity series, and I love them. They're adorable. So the next one I need to read is Aunt Dimity Beats the Devil, and it's by Nancy Atherton. Now, I mentioned that I might read an Encyclopedia Brown for challenge 1, and I would like to read at least one book for every challenge. So even though Encyclopedia Brown would count for challenge number 5, which is to read a kid or teen detective book, I'm also interested in rereading The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie. I listened to that on audio several years ago. I went into it completely blind, and I didn't really retain it. I didn't really understand what it was about. So I'm going to give that another try, because I know there's several more books in that series and I'm interested to read those. So I'm going to either read or listen to the first one again and then see if I want to continue on with the rest of that series. Alright, the next challenge is to read a book whose main character is a person of a different ethnic or racial heritage as you, or to read a book set in a different continent from where you live. And I'm going to do both. I am going to read the next book that I need to read in the #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. This is The Good Husband of Zebra Drive by Alexander McCall Smith. This is about Precious Ramotswe, who is a lady detective in Botswana, and this series is just fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't read one for several months, and so I'm really looking forward to getting back into this series. Number 7 is to read a cozy mystery. Well, I've already got several cozy mysteries that I've already shown you, but the one I want to read for this challenge, actually 2 books by the same author. I want to catch back up with the Hannah Swenson Baking Mystery Series by Joanne Fluke. One came out just before Christmas that was totally off my radar, and I didn't even realize that it was coming out, and that is The Christmas Caramel Murder. Now, when I was growing up, we said caramel, but if I said that, you might not know what I was talking about. So, The Christmas Caramel Murder. And then one just came out in February this month, and it is Banana Cream Pie Murder. So I want to hopefully get that on audio. The last one is a true crime book or a thriller. Now, the thriller does not have to be a true story. It can be a thriller novel or fiction novel. And so for this one, I'm going to finish a duology that I started a couple of years ago, and I'm going to read a book by Linwood Barclay called No Safe House. This is the second book in the No Time for Goodbye duology. Now, I read No Time for Goodbye, I think year before last, or maybe early last year, I don't remember. The premise I thought was fantastic. I didn't enjoy the book so much because there was just so much foul language, and I'm expecting that that will probably be the case in this book as well, so I'm not going to be shocked, but I am interested in knowing what happens, and since there's only one more book in the series, I may as well go ahead and read it and check that series off my list. So those are my books for the challenges for March Mystery Madness. And I just remembered another small group of books that I want to add to my March TBR. I have mentioned in a few previous videos that I've gotten really behind on getting the Sunshine State books read for this school year. And in fact, Katie's book bowl is March 8th, and I wanted to try to have them all read by then. She is hurrying to finish up her last few as well. I believe by the end of February I will still need to read these 5. And the first 2 are not too far of a stretch as far as mysteries go. I believe based on the description they are going to be adventure, mystery-based adventures. We have Nickel Bay Nick by Dean Pitchford. I love this title. Turn Left at the Cow by Lisa Bullard. Now the last 3 are more thrillery, adventure type stories, not necessarily mystery, but I just need to get them read, and so I'm going to break my mystery only rule and read these in early March. The Neptune Project by Polly Holyoke, Frenzy by Robert Lector, and Insignia by S.J. Kincaid. This one looks more futuristic, dystopian. I believe the premise is that World War III has broken out. So in addition to the other mysteries that are on my TBR, I definitely want to finish up the Sunshine State Young Reader Award finalists for this school year so that I can check that goal off my list and then do some wrap-ups and book reviews of these books, and I will be excited when I get them finished. I'm sure that there will probably be some other books that will come on my radar that I will want to read. It's my goal this year to average 17 books per month, and I may not get 17 mysteries read all during this month, but I will read as many as I can, and I'll have fun doing it. So if you have thought about participating in March Mystery Madness, I hope you will. You know, you don't have to read 8 books. That's just a bonus challenge. But if you want to even just pick 1 or 2 mysteries and mix those in with whatever else you're reading, then that would be awesome. But if you want to do a whole TBR and show us a video of what you're going to read, that's fantastic. But in order to be entered for our main giveaway, and we haven't announced what that's going to be yet, but we've just kind of set up the guidelines for entering. More than likely it's going to be an Amazon gift card. But if you want to enter that, be sure that you go on our Goodreads group and post your TBR on the TBR thread. And also while you're there, introduce yourself. Di just set up a thread to introduce yourselves, and then there's going to be a thread for each one of the challenges, so you can go through and talk about what you read for each challenge as you read it, and just have a good time getting to know each other and having fun comparing books and talking about books and making recommendations and, you know, things like that. So I hope you'll join in. I'll be coming to you later with some video challenges and various other things in relation to March Mystery Madness, so be sure you stay tuned to my channel. And also you'll want to subscribe to Troi Towel and Di from Disis19 Hearts. Those are the other 2 hosts, and they will be talking about things as well. I think Di is going to be doing a challenge of her own, and I'm not sure what all Troy's going to do, but it'll be entertaining to watch whatever he does. So that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day, read a good book, and God bless you.